All right, guys, thank you so much for coming tonight. Obviously, we have 2 forums, so the fact that you're here tonight, because we're not the chamber, we don't have the reach that they have, says a lot. And I have been right here where they're sitting tonight, and I know what a challenge it is to sit up here and to have all these faces staring at you. It's kind of, it's a little scary, especially if you've not done it before. Some of you have done it before. But in the interest of making it better for them, we're not going to do anything too crazy. So I was going to have them do cartwheels, calisthenics, push-up contests, maybe a little arm wrestling, but we're not going to do that. We have a lot of questions. Has anyone up here had access to any of the questions right now? Before now? Ever? Not at all. Okay? Everybody's in agreement? Okay, unless you snuck my little book right there, and I don't think that anyone did, because I would have knocked you out if you did. But anyways, guys, let's first, if you would, if you're so inclined, let's say a prayer. Lord, we love you and praise you and thank you for this opportunity to come together right now in this amazing city. Lord, I know that we've got our issues, we've got our struggles, but we are blessed beyond measure. And I ask that you would lead and guide every one of these men and women sitting on this stage in whatever path it is. And if they should be elected, Lord, please lead them and guide them so that this city becomes everything that you intended for it to be. Lord, we love you, praise you, and thank you. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. So we have Miss Celina here. Miss Celina, you want to come on up real quick and talk just a little bit about what you do? A lot of people didn't even know we have a Miss Celina, but we do. So you want to take just a couple minutes?
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm glad to see you here. I'm also glad to be here today acting as a moderator. Youth leadership and education is really important to me. I'm really big on being the type of adult for other children that I wish that I had at that age. And so I'm really excited to get to see what you guys have to say about how you're going to affect education in Celina in the near future. But I would love to talk about the Miss America program. Everybody's seen Miss America, right? Or Miss USA. Miss America was the first, so I wouldn't watch any of those other ones. They're copycats. But the Miss America organization is the nation's leading provider of scholarships for young women. So at Miss Texas competition last year when I competed, I was able to pay off some of my student loans because of me competing. And there are girls who have competed all their lives who go to school and come out debt-free. So if there are any young ladies here, or if you know a young lady who would be interested in competing, please let me know. You can come up to me following and I'll take down your information and get you some information about next year's local competition. I also want to encourage you to support not only me, but the other 2 local title holders, Celina's Teen and Miss Prosper's Teen. We don't have Miss Prosper yet, but we will be competing at Miss Texas in Richardson at the Iceman in June 21st to the following Saturday, whatever date that is. So please come out and support. We also have a few community events that'll be happening. If you follow me on Instagram at misscelina.tx, again, that's misscelina.tx, you can keep up with the things that we have going on. Oh, also, we have an Easter fundraiser. Let us egg your yard. Thank you.
All right, and we're going to have a few moments tonight. Where's Dr. Tom? Where are you? There you are, hiding. Did you break into the cafeteria thing back there? Because you could do that. You actually could do that. So Dr. Tom's going to be up here in just a little bit, because if you haven't heard, we have this little thing called a bond package that we're going to vote on as well. So he's going to come up here in a little bit, give these guys a break so that they can kind of stretch their legs and do whatever they need to do, maybe break in there and grab a piece of pizza or something too. And you can ask him questions. So be ready for that. We're going to do this in the format of everybody gets to go together. We're not going to do like council and then school board, because what happens is people who care only about council, they leave whenever y'all are done, and vice versa. So we're going to put it all together. That way everybody gets to hang out for a while. So there's a microphone right down there. Do you see it? You might want to grab that. And then I'm going to hand this one to you, and we're going to get started. record, I didn't say it. Ben Bowden right here I needed a person who did not know any of the candidates. If you do not know any of these candidates, I'll probably shook a few hands tonight. So I don't want to have any bias whatsoever. That's very important. All right, so we're going to start, guys. See if you can actually hear me. Can you hear me? Okay, can you guys hear me back here? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask a question, and you're going to have basically 2 minutes on this first question. We're making a first statement, I should say. I'm going to watch the clock. If you can kind of keep an eye on me as we're getting close to the end, I'm just going to kind of signal like this so you know we're getting very close. I'm not going to cut you right off at exactly the minute mark, but if you keep going too long, I probably will. Okay? I do have the remote control to those microphones, so I'm just kidding. All right, so let's start. We start right down here on this end. If you would, introduce yourself and tell us who you are and why you're running.
So my name is Cameron Riggs. The reason I'm running, when my wife and I moved here in 2018, is we looked at the ISD specifically, and we looked at their guiding principles. One of those things was leadership, and the core value of leadership. What is more important in life than teaching young kids, teaching them how to be leaders, because they are the future of our future, really. So that's why we ran. I want to keep Celina. I want to keep those small town values. I want to be able to pray before our school board meetings, just like we did here. Even though this isn't an ISD event, we were able to pray in the school, pray before our football games. So that's why I'm running. I want to learn from the current school board members because they've done a tremendous job getting us to where we are.
Very good. If you'd like to, you can just hand the microphone off there. Introduce yourself, please, and tell us why you're running.
Well, I'm glad I didn't have to go first.
But you got to go second.
Thank you for breaking the ice.
Golly.
No, I'm Michael Wagner. My wife and I, we've been here about 5 years. We're from right up the road, Wichita Falls, not too far away. And really the reason we have 4 kids who are in the system. My wife also teaches right across the street here at Martin at the elementary school. And really why I wanted to run is I saw somebody who was leaving the council who I felt like was a pretty Christ-centered person. And so I thought, I'm not going to be able to complain much if I don't do something about it. So I wanted to at least throw my hat in the ring. And I felt like for place 2, I felt like we ran into a good problem to have when you have 2 candidates who are both pretty good candidates who have a good heart for the children, heart for the kids, heart for the teachers, and really are here to support the ISD. So and my intention was he was not running, and I didn't want somebody else to step in there that wasn't going to have those values remain central. So.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
My name is Chuck Hansen. I'm running for place 1. And the main reason I'm running is I was appointed to the board back in 2008. At that point in time, I kind of made a deal with the Lord. I said, Lord, I'm going to serve you as long as you call me and continue to call me and put me in this place. And you don't want to back out on a deal you made with God. I got enough things I got to answer for sometime in the future. That's not going to be one of them. So I love Celina. I moved here because there's that spiritual foundation. I want to keep that spiritual foundation for generations to come. So that's the main reason I'm running.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Megan Dungan, and I am running for place 1. I agree with everything that my previous candidates said. We love the city of Celina. We moved here about 5 years ago. I have 2 children that are here in Celina ISD. But the main reason that I am running for school board is because this is one of the most important elections that has happened in the last several years. We're about to experience significant growth in Celina, and we're also about to experience the most changes in the educational system that we have seen in a very long time. From the voucher system to the potential elimination of the federal education department. I have been an educational advocate for 6 years. I know educational law, and I know how to ensure that our school district is protected, our students and our educators are protected through all of these changes. And I know how to make sure that we put the proper laws in place to protect our students. And so I thought that this was the year that I could finally bring change at a much higher level, not just one-on-one for students on an advocacy level, but for our entire school district. So that's why I'm running for place 1.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Vicki Hogue, and I'm a mom of a middle school student here at Moore. I love the school. I'm heavy on volunteering, really try to get in the community, a wife, but David's out in the audience. I'm an introvert, so bear with me. I'll try to stay focused. Hey, I'm running. It's pretty simple. I believe in the power of education. Man, it moves mountains, right? If you really put yourself behind a student, if you love them, if you shower them, if you help them, if you motivate them, if they are really excited about school, really great things can happen. I'm a firm believer. I like to repeat Dr. Tom's saying of loving the learner and driving the rigor, because I've seen it with my own son. He didn't have the greatest experience. And I tell everybody, he was a really smart kid, right? And I was like, gosh, what can I do to really get you motivated? He graduated. He didn't really know where he wanted to go. And he got connected with the fire department. And they loved on that kid. And they did everything in their power to really show him that he mattered. And today, he's a firefighter. And we are so proud of that. Man, teachers do a great job. They're transforming. And I'm here because I believe in their work and I want to support it in every way. I already support the teachers, the ISD, in every way I possibly can, whether I'm on the Education Foundation, where I'm coming up here, eating lunch with a child that's not necessarily mine, but one that just needs a little attention. I'm here. I'm ready to give it my all. I believe in the direction that we're going, and I want to serve as your next school board member. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we're going to switch over just a little bit to City Council. You guys get a much more challenging question. I'm just kidding. It's the same question. You can explain. You can tell us who you are and why you're running.
Sure. My name is Brandon Grumbles, and I'm running for City Council Place 6. I'm already in that spot now, so I'm running again for that. You might have heard the term brick. So I'm a brick. What that means is I'm born and raised in Celina. I'm a 5th generation Celina resident. Our family really loves this town. I went through the school system here. So congrats on having a very smart gentleman come through the school board here. So, but the reason why I'm running, when my wife and I got married, back in 2010, I had told her that I wanted to move back to Celina and I wanted to raise our family in Celina just because of the childhood that I had. So my wife agreed, let's move to Celina, and she fell in love with the town very quickly. A lot of it had to do with the people in the town. Everybody was very welcoming to her being an outsider, and she was really impressed by that, and she loved it. The town's growing very, very rapidly. And something that I'm really wanting to hold on to is those values that we had in Celina when I was younger, when my dad was younger, my granddad was younger here. I want to hold on to those values. And really the only way to do that is to continue to serve in the community and just try to keep friendly reminders out there on what Celina is, why people are choosing Celina to come to live or to have their business or just to play. We have a lot of events here and a lot of people come here just to play. So it's just really important to me that we've got somebody on City Council that has been here, loves the city, has a completely different perspective on the city. Is that my lights? Is that like the cue off?
That means it's time for you to go home.
Yeah, the Oscar speech thing. It's just really important to me to keep somebody on the City Council that's grounded in the town, grounded in the city, has roots here, and wants to continue their roots here. That's something that's really big on me is generational legacy. For my family, I want my family to continue to stay here, but I also want other families that are moving here to have their generational legacy stay in Celina and thrive here.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, Philip.
Hello, everyone. Philip Ferguson. I'm running for re-election in place 1. I'm at the end of my first term. We have 3-year terms. Brandon and I get to run together. So I'm running for re-election. I'm just a 2-termer. So if I get over the hump, this will be it for me. But why am I running for reelection? Yeah, I first moved to Celina in 2014. I was born and raised in Dallas, lived in Las Vegas for about 19 years. And when we made the decision to move back to Texas, this is the kind of community we want to live in. So to me, Celina is not just home. It is a community I've spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours giving back to in form of various volunteer work. I've been on our HOA. I was a Republican precinct chairman. I got involved with the Main Street Board, and that's really where I kind of found my lane. Doing events downtown was something that's fun for me, and I enjoy doing it. If you've been to some of the movie nights and stuff over the years, Beware of the Square, that type of stuff, these are things I'll help start. So I think that helps make our community unique and not just another North Texas boomtown. But we're at a point where, Celina, as you guys know, we're the fastest growing city in the United States. So there's a lot happening right now. And I feel like we're in a spot where, you kind of need steady leadership and proven results to kind of keep it going. So that's why I want to stick around for one more term to make sure we build on what we've already done and continue down the path we're on.
All right, thank you. Vicki, you've already got the microphone, so I think we have a question for you. You want to take this?
Hi, Vicki.
Hi.
Do you support the $2.295 billion bond package, and why or why not?
I do support it because it's for the students.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me interrupt. I didn't tell you, my mistake, and we'll start you over. 1 minute.
Okay, thank you.
It's going to have to be fast. We're going to run fast now.
I can't. I do support it. It's plain and simple. We're doing it for the students. I'm all about supporting the students. I want to make sure they have everything they need to have a great education, to go down the path, whether it be CTE, a trade, whether it be academic, that we're giving them everything they need to be successful in those roles. And this is one way we're going to make that happen. I'm glad that we're so forward thinking and we're ready for the growth. Somebody else said that I'm good at taking people's sayings, but they were like, we have to build it because they are coming. And it's great to know that we have a administration that's forward thinking and really putting the right things in place for students.
All right. Same question.
Yes, I do support the bond. As I said earlier, our city is growing at a rapid pace, and we have to have campuses. Most of our campuses are already either at or almost at capacity. And so if we want to continue to provide the education that we all love here in Celina, we are going to have to build more schools. We're going to have more campuses. We are going to have more teachers. We are going to have more resources. And all of this money is going to our students. And I support the school bond.
All right, very good. Chuck, same question, please.
Same question. All right. Let's just do a little exercise. How many people believe Celina is going to grow? Raise your hand. All right. How many people believe that growth is going to bring students for our school system? You might as well just keep your hand up because you know where I'm going with this. How many people believe that those students deserve a quality education with good facilities, good teachers? So it's just a formula. It's a compilation. It's a no-brainer. We've got to have the funds to build facilities, and our administration has done such a phenomenal job trying to plan where the growth is going to be, buy land years ago. But man, that doesn't stop, and it's a long, drawn-out process, and it takes a lot of work and takes a lot of money. So absolutely 100% behind it.
Very good. Thank you, Michael.
I would say I'm kind of up in the air, and I'll tell you why.
Do me a favor and hold the microphone just a little bit closer. Yep. There you go.
There you go. So I think there are some questions. Anything this big, I wish there were a way to go back. Here's what I guess I think about is, if we don't go for it, then what? Does it go back to the drawing board? How long does that take? Who knows? That adds a lot of questions to it. I love the fact that we're trying to put the growth out there. I like that we engaged the community with Dr. Tom, and they got not just administrators, but they had teachers, they had students, they had just community members who came in to help build this whole package. I don't like how big it is. I think we could have done something a little more bite-sized just because there's just going to be inefficiencies, I feel like. The reason I would go for it is I have to trust in some of the folks who have already voted for it, with being the school board, some of the members on the school board, and then the community and the folks that they put into this bond election committee. But were at the
You're
time.
getting close. Yeah, you're getting close.
I would say I could actually go either way on it. I know the growth is coming. I know we have to prepare for it. I guess there were just a few questions I had more about the bond, which I'm glad Dr. Tom's here to answer all those today. So.
All right, very good. Cameron, same question, please.
So one of the things I did to prepare for running for this was I served on the bond committee. And when you look at those numbers, right now we're at 5,400 students. In 5 years, we'll be close to 13 to 15,000 students. So it's really not a question of if we need it, we need it. And I do support it. I think Dr. Tom has done a tremendous job of presenting what the school needed. There's no fluff in this. There's no football stadium. Actually, Dr. Tom didn't want to build the admin building because he wanted this to be for the students. So everything in this bond is specifically for the students. Our rate has grown so fast that if we do not pass this, we're going to have trailers around every school, and it's just not going to look good. And we're going to say, hey, come to our school system, but you're going to be out back in the trailer park.
All right, very good. Philip, you got the microphone?
What do you think of the term politics?
Yeah, it's not super sensitive.
What do you think of the term politics as usual, and what could be done about it?
Man, that's a great question. I don't know if we have that much time tonight, though.
A whole minute.
We saw a lot of politics as usual last night, in my opinion. I just wish, as some of the leadership in town, we could just move past some of the pettiness. I mean, Celina is about to be a big city with serious issues, and we need to be treating it that way, and not get bogged down into personality differences that just cause a distraction, I think, for the leadership team and definitely for the community at large. As far as I'm concerned, we're here to do what's best for Celina. We're here to serve the voters and not be on some personal quest for something. So when I think of politics as usual, I kind of think of the past, old school. I'm not about that. I like to look forward, not backwards.
All right, very good, Brandon. If you can get that microphone. All right, so the question, what does the term politics as usual mean to you, and what can you do about that?
Well, yeah, obviously the term politics as usual is never used in a positive connotation. So it's got a negative ring to it right off the bat. But, I was asked in an interview several weeks ago about would I be buying into or playing to some of the politics that are in Celina, and I made a commitment to know that I would not be doing that. And as Philip's already said last night, we had that opportunity to prove if we were or were not going to be playing politics. And I think that if you go back and watch, I've proved that I'm not playing politics. I'm really not interested in that kind of drama. Maybe 10 or so years ago when I was enjoying watching Jerry Springer episodes, that might have been something fun to do. However, I don't do that anymore. So I've got enough going on in my life right now. I don't need to add to it with a town of 50,000 people's politics and drama in it. So to answer your question, it's a negative connotation, and I just don't want to buy into it, and I refuse to buy into it.
Very good. Thank you. Why don't we go... You've got the microphone? No, you've got it. You know what? That automatically makes you first. So here we go with an ISD question.
How can you promote transparency and community trust on things like the bond package we're about to vote on?
Well, the first thing is exactly what Tom did. He didn't come out with the bond package put together himself behind closed doors. He got the community involved. He got teachers, parents, local business people. Man, that's how you do it. That's genius. And that's how any successful bond package will pass, because it actually starts from the roots, the people who are going to, quote, see the growth and experience the benefits from it. So that's the first thing you got to do. And really, that's the main thing you got to do.
Okay, you can hand the...
So I can think about Jerry Springer. Or you want that?
You can hand it either way. There you go. Okay, do you need the question again, or?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I agree with everything that Chuck said, but I think Celina is a very special city. It was one of the reasons that we chose to live here, move here, because things are very transparent in this community. It is a very tight-knit community. It's something that people want to get involved. People want to support our students. They want to support our educators. And so I think a lot of people turned out to be on the bond committee and run for school board and get involved in our school and in our education system. And so I think that just being transparent with everything, but also continuing to have an open platform for people to be involved and have their voices heard, I think is just so important.
And just for the record, when I do this, you've still got about 10 seconds if you need it. Yeah. So I know everybody's stopping right whenever I hold my finger up. So I don't deserve that kind of power. Okay, Vicky, do you know the question still? Do you need it reread?
Now I know the question.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you. And I don't disagree either. I believe that the district did a great job getting parents, community members, everyone they could get together in a room and to really discuss, what are the pros and cons and what did we need. So I think it's wonderful that they reached out to the community and found ways to get the community involved. I know the team, Dr. Tom, is always out advocating out in the schools. Transparency is important, right? Being involved is important too. I think it's a two-way street. David and I attend all the school board meetings, and there's rarely anybody there. There's so much information out there at our fingertips. And I know it's not easy, but it's important. It's important to be able to advocate again for the district. It's to really be involved and understand what's going on. So finding ways to really be involved when those opportunities are before us, I think is really important and really sets the tone for us leading the community and the ISD in the right direction.
All right, very good. Can you hand that all the way down to the gentleman on the end? All right. Yep, whoever wants to.
I echo what everybody said. Not only did Dr. Tom put a group together, but he also chose a community leader that is very well respected to go out in the community and tell everybody, and that's Ben Hengardner. He's done a great job. I also believe, being on the school board, you got to be careful about how you answer those questions because you can't actually be for or against. You just got to inform about it. I think being approachable as a school board member and knowing how to communicate those answers without crossing the wrong lines is also a very good deal.
Yeah, and I think, even getting together and doing the town halls, those are great ways to get, and I was very underwhelmed at the number of folks who came out to the two that I had gone to. And I understand it's not always easy to get to, but when you're talking about transparency, I think they're doing a great job of trying to get it out into different forums. That's why we're having this right here. That's why we do the town halls. That's why they're having some of these events. It's just a matter of getting the folks involved. And the folks who are here tonight, you guys are actually taking that first step, so we appreciate that. But it's going to take way more of that in order to get more folks out and get them informed about some of that information.
All right, very good. That's everybody on ISD for that, right? All right, who has Brandon, you've got the microphone, so guess what? You get the next question. You want a school board question or a city council related question? I'm just kidding.
Neither.
All right, with the rapid growth, infrastructure almost always is in a state of catch up. How are we currently doing with infrastructure right now? And what will you do to help improve that status?
Minute question, huh?
Yeah, we want to test you out really good.
So a lot of aspects to that. Right off the bat, you're going to hear everybody talk about water. We're behind the 8 ball in water, but don't be fearful. We're not the only ones. It's the state of Texas. We're all behind in water. It's a commodity we just don't have right now. We do have plans. I think we talked about the Lake Ralph Hall coming on in 2026. That's 27. I think it opens in 26. We'll start getting water in 27. So that's going to help out a lot. I know we have some other things that we are looking at doing as well that we really can't talk about just yet, but we are looking ahead to bring in more water. Water is needed for growth. These developers coming in, they've got to have water. That's just part of it. We've got to have water to drink. Dr. Tom needs water to wash his hair, so we've got to have water. Also when it comes to infrastructure, if I've got enough time,
You've got 10 seconds.
10 seconds. I'm a big proponent of downtown. You're going to hear that a lot from me over the next few years is downtown infrastructure. We need roads, we need drainage, we need sidewalks. We needed that 15 years ago.
All right, very good.
Pushing really, really hard for that.
All right, I'm just going to take a quick pause right here, and I can't turn around and look at the audience because of the way the microphone is, but I think suffice to say that we've learned something about you tonight, Brandon, is that you've got jokes. You're really, really, really
My wife is watching, so make sure you say that to the camera. That I've got jokes and I am really funny.
If nothing else tonight, if you don't win your election, which is impossible, but if you don't, you always have a second option.
Got to stand up. Yeah,
that's right. Stand-up comedy.
If there's any teachers in here that taught me, you can probably agree.
All right, awesome. All right, Philip, you need
Brandon
a reread.
doesn't win, that would be funny.
Do you need a reread of the question or no?
Infrastructure, right?
Infrastructure
we could sit here all night talking about that too. I mean, I'm just going to rattle off a bunch of things real quick, but at the city level, what we've done is we've increased water storage capacity. We're above our subscription limit for what Upper Trinity can provide to us in water. So we're just trying to increase storage as much as we can. We're building our own water treatment plant so we can control the price on that instead of being subject to what other people are doing. We're increasing sewer capacity. We're pouring so much concrete for concrete roads. I mean, they're everywhere. There's miles of concrete roads that's been built the last 3 years, repaving existing streets, traffic signals. The downtown roads are being rebuilt. That's part of the big plan. The parks. I mean, anything you can think of, there's some infrastructure going on. We'll never do it fast enough, though. If we could all wave a magic wand and get everything caught up instantly, we would. But that can't be done. I think as a city leadership team, though, we've done a great job in keeping up as much as we can at this point. And hopefully we can get ahead of the curve here sooner rather than later.
Very good. Well, you packed that last little bit in there. Well, that was great. All right, let's go back down to ISD. Where's the microphone? Somebody hasn't taken the first question. All right, Michael Wagner, with such rapid growth, what is more important today? New facilities or academic performance? And how can we prioritize both?
That's like asking me which one of my kids I like better. It's not really, being able to prioritize that's not really going to work. I think you really have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. So we've got this bond package that's up. However this comes out, we're going to end up having to do the facilities with it. There's like you said, we're not putting them all in trailers. It's not going to work out so well. But being able to also work on the programs and things like that is going to be just a matter of continuing to engage the community, having these committees who get together and actually work together to find, creative solutions to do that. But speaking of that, with the last couple of things, we had mentioned the transparency and things like that. And I did want to go back and touch on that just because I think a great way to improve some of that transparency would be to engage. We already do things with the Chamber of Commerce. We do things here in this type of forum, but also engaging even some of the community churches. I think that most pastors would probably be more than happy to have folks in and come in and give a little talk about the ISD and what we're doing. So I think that might be something that hasn't been done in the past that might be useful in the future for the transparency.
All right,
getting more
very
people
good.
involved.
Thank you. Whichever way you want to hand it. All right, there you go. All right.
Okay, I think he's right. We got to go hand in hand with this, but we have to start with the educators, because if we don't have educators that want to teach our kids and want to be here, we're not going to have students that are learning at the capacity they could without the educators. Being able to build schools and keep our educators at the same time or should be a big priority for everybody. Again, if we're teaching in trailers around back, we're not going to be able to keep and retain those educators.
So you learn something really interesting. It's good not to always go first because you can think about your answer, but you can just repeat what the other people say. So it's exactly right. I'll just repeat what my two predecessors talked about, and that is facilities are extremely important in order to have a quality education and continue to keep the integrity of the academics that we currently have. You've got to have a stability base of teachers. You've got to have the consistency of those teachers that come back every year, love on our kids repetitively year after year. They've got to have facilities to teach. We've got to have the opportunity to grow into those. But they got to go hand in hand. And that's not a clear answer to your thing, but that's the best answer I got.
Hey, you know what? For a 1 minute answer, that was pretty good.
So I do agree that we have to prioritize both, obviously. But I have worked in the educational setting for 14 years. It never fails. I see teachers every year around October, about 2 or 3 months into the school year, start to get burned out and start counting down until the holidays. If we want to keep quality educators and good teachers in our education system, then we have to take care of our teachers. And part of that is going to come with the significant growth that is coming. And Dr. Tom is nodding his head. The growth that is coming means that our class sizes are going to increase. Most of you probably know that my background is special education. 65% of our students that have an IEP plan are integrated at least 80% of their day into a general education classroom. And what that means is that oftentimes these students have an individualized plan and a modified curriculum that have to be handled by that one teacher. So in order for these teachers to not feel the burnout, we have to take care of them, which means we need more aides, we need more paraprofessionals,
Okay,
we need to get our community involved.
Yep. Need to hand the microphone. Thank you. I know it's hard. It is a challenge. I know it is, but we opened it up to the community for questions, and we would literally need about 3 days to get through all of the questions. So we just, we kind of just did the very, very best we could. And part of trying to get as many responses as we can is to cut this time down to 1 minute. So there's my 1 minute. All right, Vicki, you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Again, I echo everything that's been said. You need them both, right? You need the infrastructure. You need the right tools in place so that the teachers can do what they do best and really educate our kids every day in the schools. I mean, academics are important, but it's really important to find out what each individual student needs. And in order to do that, in order to really navigate their career and really make them feel good about coming to school, they have to have the right tools and they have to have a really good place to learn. So you can't have one without the other. You have to really be able to provide your students with the resources that they need to be successful in what they're doing every day. We do need to, as everyone says, support our teachers, really advocate for them. They do a lot with very little, and it's easy. We see great ones leave all the time and go into different professions. I always tell everybody, I work in the corporate world, and we're always looking for great teachers. So doing everything we can to advocate for those teachers and really support them in what they're doing for our students every day is going to be a big help as well.
Very good. Thank you. All right. And we're going to move over to city council candidates. And we've got a question for you two gentlemen.
How important is our downtown, and what is your vision of it in 10 years?
Downtown's awesome. I mean, it's often referred to as the heartbeat of Celina. That's how I kind of got started when I first moved here. Like I said, I didn't know anyone when I moved to Celina in 2014, and I got involved with our Main Street Board with a lot of the activities downtown. It wasn't that busy when I first moved here in 2014, and I always thought downtown should be packed. It should be vibrant. It should be growing, robust. It should be a place where people want to be. And over the years, it's kind of become that. I think we're at full capacity. I think anything that can't be rented down there is at this point. The future plans for downtown calls for it to expand out about 2 blocks in each direction. So it's going to get bigger and better. You're seeing that the physical manifestation of that happen right now with the parking garage that's under construction. That's going to open in October. That's 400 parking spaces. And the new Celina Center right in front of the government center. I forget what we're calling it now. But that's a new library. I think we're the biggest city in Texas with the smallest library right now, 2,000 square feet. But a new library would be 20,000 square feet. It's going to have a rooftop deck on it. You'll have the best sunset views in all of Collin County from that. Offices for our city staff to work in, so they don't have to work in their car or in a basement someplace. Anything we can do to help support downtown and make it unique and different and cool, I'm always a yes on that.
All right. Very good. Thank you for that. Brandon?
Could you repeat the question, please, sir?
No. Downtown. Yeah. Do you want to?
How important is our downtown, and what is your vision of it in 10 years?
Yeah, so the downtown, it's extremely important. It is the heartbeat of Celina because the downtown area, that is what Celina was. Celina wasn't all these subdivisions. It was the downtown area and then the farms and the ranches. That was it. A lot of the people that I talked to that have recently moved to Celina, they all kind of had the same story. We came to an event downtown. We loved it. We decided to move to Celina because of the downtown. So if that's what's driving the growth in here for the residents and for the businesses, then why would you not pounce on that and let that be the focus of the growth of Celina? I I've said this in the past to Ron, I believe, the downtown that we've got, it's really small. So we've got a lot of big plans for a really small space. So how do you utilize that space? Well, it's going to have to expand out a little bit. But then we're also utilizing things like in between the government center and the parking garage, we're going to have the secret garden, which is something that we kind of stumbled upon in Sundance Square, where they found a creepy alley and turned it into something really nice and beautiful with cobblestones and coffee shops and barber shops. So it's going to have to be ideas like that so that we can kind of expand the downtown, make it a little bit different than other downtowns, and just keep going with it.
This is for the ISD candidates. What specific programs or policies would you advocate for to ensure that Celina ISD continues to lead in student achievement and innovation?
All right. Yep.
Doesn't matter.
You got it.
I will go. I'm a huge advocate of Collin College and really expanding some of that technology and what they're doing there. I'm an Aggie too, and so I have to brag that coming to one of the events that they had here at the school, they were talking about an engineering program that they already have with Collin College that feeds into Texas A&M, and just looking for partners like Collin that really help us with robotics and different career paths for our students, I think is a big win altogether. I mean, we have them right in our backyard. What a great advantage to have a wonderful partnership. I know that my daughter is going to start 9th grade and she gets to start in the collegiate college. That is a huge win. For parents as well, the cost of college is extreme sometimes, and just to have them in our backyard to really help us bring in programs and to expand what we're able to do. I'm a big fan, I know Cameron's over there, of agriculture. You know, I'm not only an Aggie, I'm a 4-H kid, I'm an FFA kid, and just looking for ways to really expand and highlight some of those fields and what they have. That is the field I work in, and
Okay,
there's so much.
I'm gonna blink the lights again on you.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you.
I'm gonna try to talk fast. I come from special education. That is a huge, that's something that I care very deeply about. Celina ISD just started their special education program in-house 5 years ago. It is still a very new program. There are still a lot of resources and things that need to be put in place in order to improve the program overall for the entire district. With the growth coming, we are going to have more and more students with special education needs. That means we are going to have more staff and more resources in order to support them. I want you to picture very, very quickly in your mind a teacher that has a class size of 20 plus students plus 3 additional students that have special education needs on 3 different plans, maybe behavioral needs, they have to modify a curriculum, and they have to deal with a child with sensory needs. That's very difficult and a big struggle. So I want to make sure that we support our teachers and make sure that they have the resources they need so that they can teach.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I totally agree with what Vicki was saying about Collin College. What a blessing it is for me personally. When my kid graduated, I was out, 30 hours of tuition. That's value, folks. And you can actually graduate with a lot more than that. But I'm going to answer the question on what programs do we need to focus on. I really don't know. And the reason I say that, 5 years ago, I didn't know what robotics was. And now all of a sudden we're the state champs. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we didn't have a girls soccer team. I think as our society changes, culinary stuff that we've added to the high school, all the things that we're adding, we're adapting to find out what the kids' gifts are, what the skills are, cybersecurity, things that the society needs. We're going to continue to grow in those areas. And so the programs that you check with me in 5 years and I'll give you a better answer.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you can always tell what's going to come. Okay, we know we're going to have special education needs just because of the number of kids who are coming and things like that. I think it goes back to the foundational principles. We talk about traditional faith-based values. If we stick with that as a foundation, we're going to have to make adjustments as we go. We're not going to be able to foresee all the challenges that are coming up. But if we stick with the foundational principles that we, as the school board has in their mission statement, then if we'll stick to that and we can move forward from there, we're moving forward from a foundation, a stable foundation, and then it doesn't matter where you go, and you can always adjust that as you go. but the foundation has to be the solid spot.
Very good. Okay, some of you guys are really good at getting these answers in like 30 or 40 seconds. It's impressive. All right, Cameron, you ready?
Well, it's easy to say. I agree with everything before me. So
You could just say ditto.
Collin College, absolutely. Our CTE program, the special needs, everything they just said. You know, artificial intelligence is fixing to take off, and that's something that nobody's dealt with yet. So I think that CTE program, putting a lot of emphasis on it, because when you teach somebody to go out and work every day and take care of a heifer for a show, guess what? You're building a leader. Those leaders need to be made. They need to learn and then eventually become school board members like us. So whatever in 20 to 30 years comes up, they can also help lead our ISD into the future.
All right, very good. All right, we're going to see if we can get Dr. Tom, wherever he is. Is he still here? Did he leave? He may have gone home. All right. If you guys want to take a quick break, okay, we'll let Dr. Tom come up. I'm just going to listen. Probably not enough time to go home. Am
I sitting or standing, sir? Well, I just appreciate it. One thing I'd like to say, the school district has a fantastic relationship with the city, and we aim to keep that. And I appreciate the gentleman being here tonight and answering these questions. We will aspire to continue that relationship, and how great it is to have these folks giving the answers and the knowledge that they have. But then also, I'm thrilled to see the folks that we have that are wanting to come and serve our school district. I think we owe them all a round of applause for their. But I also appreciate Mr. Lyons for giving me a quick opportunity. You all have some very important decisions in front of you, as you can see here. I don't think we can go wrong anywhere through there, and so that's a great opportunity. And we have placed around on the chairs just some information for you, and I would draw your attention to the inside section. There's some cute pictures. I'm sorry about the big bald guy in the front of this thing, but there's not much I can do about that now at this point in time. But some information in here that we wanted to make sure we had available for our public to see. We will continue to send more information out in social media. We have a lot of information that's available on our webpage. You can see a link on the back, a QR code that can take you to our webpage for our district, where there's all kinds of information on the school bond. If you have any questions at all, we'd love to entertain those questions tonight here in a second, but then also just giving us an opportunity for you to reach out to us either by email, reaching out to the school by phone or to the district by phone, and I'd be happy to meet with anyone and talk to them. We appreciate the opportunity to be in front of anyone we can. And I think on the middle fold that you can see the picture of all those school facilities at the top. And Mr. Lyons asked a question about the price that's attached to this bond. And our bond committee knew, which was, again, as noted, was based and built by our community members that did include kids too, which was very interesting. For 3 months, this bond committee worked together, generating the information, and we facilitated, but we let the community make a determination about what they felt like they needed to bring forward. And you see all those schools that are across the top of the page. All of those schools will be necessary in the next 5 to 6 years. And that is just a staggering amount of school facilities that we will need in our community. And so with the price that Mr. Lyons had mentioned in one of the earlier questions, that helps us with the cost of these things. And I know it was mentioned about, could we have taken a smaller bite? The high school, for instance, the second high school that we will need, we are already having to design that right now with it opening in 5 years. And so knowing that it takes that long to design, to engineer, to get the permits through the city, to begin construction and get through, all of these facilities will be under construction within the next 5 years. And some of them you see there at the very right-hand side of the top of the page, and it says middle school number 4 opening, it says estimated in 2033. There's a good chance that school will need to open even earlier than that if we remain on a high growth scale. And if that's the case, that school facility, even if it were to open up in 2033, will need to be under construction or begin the design for the construction 3 years before that. And so we can't wait to get going, and we can't try to pick which of these facilities we won't add to the bond, because all of them are going to need to be built in the next 5 years. And so we appreciate your consideration. I can't campaign for or against the bond. I can only try to give people good information. And so we wanted the opportunity to share that with you all. In addition to just the facilities that you see along the top, you can see all the different pieces of things that we're going to need to do as we go through. You can see the renovations. We are committed to opening up a new elementary school and then going into every one of our existing facilities and providing updates at each of our elementary schools every time we open up an elementary school. When we open up a new middle school, we want to update something in each of our other middle schools as we go along. And since we are going to be building a new high school, we want to make sure that Celina High School, the original high school and the original facility of Celina High School, will also be updated. The original building of Celina High School was built in 2008 or opened in 2008. And so that facility needs a lot of work for the existing facility. Yeah, we're building on and putting the beautiful addition that's going on out back that's bringing all kinds of career technology opportunities for our kids, all kinds of fine arts opportunities for our students, new classroom space and new cafeteria space that will all be necessary, new fine arts facilities that are going to include new programs like orchestra that we don't even have yet here in Celina ISD. But the existing facility is going to then also need to have some new updates so that that school will continue to be a gem for this district as we build a brand new high school. You also see all the safety and security features. We'll always need to enhance every single building, but as new things happen in our world, we are constantly learning about what we need to do to update each of our facilities to ensure that they're all safe. There are things here at Moore Middle School that now that it's open and we lived in it for 2 years, we know we need to do to enhance the security of this building. And so by being able to do that and update a lot of our infrastructure, that will help. And then you also see the technology opportunities. One thing that I'd want to emphasize, when you go to the polls, there will be a Proposition A that is the majority of what's in this package and in this material. But there will also be a second proposition, Proposition B, for a small fraction of that $2.295 billion that will be for $20 million that's specifically for electronic devices for our learners. All of our computers, all of our equipment is now starting to become outdated. And we're going to need new equipment, but with more and more students coming in, we're going to need new equipment for all of our students. And so we're planning ahead, and that's what Proposition B. You will not have to pick either Proposition A or Proposition B. You'll have an opportunity to vote on both. Proposition A, which is the majority of the things on this pamphlet that we have here, but then also Proposition B, which is just for the electronic devices we'll need for our learners. One thing I want to emphasize, and I'll turn it over for any questions, that 100% of the dollars that are proposed in this referendum, 100% stays in Celina ISD. We have become a property wealthy district, and a lot of you may not have heard my previous presentations when we were talking about the Vader, but as a property wealthy district, the state's now taking this year as much as $1.5 million of local taxes to go back to the state that'll be dispersed around the state. That's on our maintenance and operations side. For debt service for the construction of facilities, the state gives no dollars to districts for the construction of facilities. So if we say, and if our community says we need new schools, it's 100% on us in this community to build those schools and to fund those schools. The state will not give dollars toward the construction of new facilities. But if the community says we believe in this and we want these dollars to go toward our schools, 100% of those dollars stay in the district. And it doesn't go toward teacher salaries. All that's on our maintenance and operations. And so 100% of the dollars on this bond will go to address our growth. And it's new schools, and it's the infrastructure for those schools, and especially safety security. But then it's also 100% will stay in Celina ISD. Ron, are you asking, or are you offering the opportunity?
Here's what we're going to do. If anybody's got a question, if you can just kind of raise your hand or something, we're going to come over and let you ask the question. This is your time. We don't get Dr. Tom often. He's a very, very busy man. So we're going to walk around. No gotchas, okay? No gotchas. Just kidding.
A quick question, Dr. Tom. So if the bond passes, the $2.3 billion bond, does the city incur, or I should say the ISD incur the total cost of that bond up front, or do you piecemeal it as needed?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I'm really glad you asked that because a couple people have asked similar questions, and one to what you're speaking. We only sell the bonds as we need them. And in fact, we have a short period of time once we sell the bonds to make sure that they're going toward the facilities. And so it's just like if you were to purchase a house today and then you wanted to purchase another house, it's once you are going to start the construction of that facility, that's when we sell the bonds. And so we don't incur the full interest on all 2.295 all at one time. And we'll be selling bonds every summer. And then that's when the interest starts to build on those, just like your mortgage on your house. One thing that is not really in your question, but toward your question there, some folks have said, well, what happens if the growth doesn't come? If the growth doesn't come, we won't need to build the facilities as fast, and we don't have to sell the bonds until we actually need to sell the bonds to build those facilities when it comes. So again, that wasn't your question, but I think it's a good point of order, sir.
All right, very good. Somebody else have a question? No? Oh, got a couple over here. Good. I was about to ask you what your favorite podcast is if nobody else had a question. But.
I have a question about what's not in there. I think one of the candidates mentioned, hey, we scrapped a football field or
Yes,
scrapped
sir.
an administrative building. Like, what wasn't in there that got cut to get that maybe would want to, I could imagine people wanting to have a football field or some other things later
Yeah,
on.
and I'm going to give, in a second, I'm going to give one of our committee members who's actually here who could even speak to some of that. But I think it was mentioned up here that the bond committee was very clear. They saw that this was, with all these schools, it was going to be something that was a lot for folks to digest. They also knew that a second high school was going to be something for this community to digest. So we wanted to make sure we were honoring our community and giving them an opportunity to digest this. And so a new stadium, if we're going to be a two high school district, what is it that we're going to have? Are we going to have all the students playing all at Bobcat Field? We'll leave that for a later time when we actually get that school on the ground. Our committee said, we have got to act right now on the facilities we need. A lot of folks were pushing real hard on the new administration building as well. And it was mentioned, I'm not trying to be a hero. We got to focus. This has to be on the kids. We want our community to just have to digest. Do we need these facilities now? Are we prepared to do this right now? And will our existing tax rate be able to build all of these facilities and pay for all of this? If we had added in a lot of those other things, we wouldn't be able to come to you all and say, we know that our existing tax rate can build all these things. Our existing tax rate can do all of this that's listed on this bond. And one thing, if you don't mind, it's not really towards your question. I'm sorry if I'm straying, but when you go to the polls, a state law requires that when a school district goes out for a bond, the school district has to say on its ballot, this will increase your taxes. This bond, everything that we're proposing in the $2.295 billion bond, everything's proposed we can do with our existing tax rate. But when you go to the polls, and we were just in Austin, and I talked to all of our reps, and I said, you make me feel like I'm a liar to our community, because I go to them and I say we can do this with our existing tax rate, but yet you make us put on the ballot that your taxes will increase. Their thinking on that is because your property values are going to go up. And even if I cut your property taxes, in which we have 45 cents the past several years, even if we cut your taxes, if your property values go up, there's a decent chance you will be paying more taxes. But we can do what we propose with our existing tax rate. Sorry I went long on your answer there, sir, but we wanted to focus, our community wanted to focus just on what we know we need right now in the present future.
Okay, we have time for one more question.
Well, I got to hear your previous presentation,
Yes, ma'am.
but I thought it was just important that you do speak on that part of the funds are going to be able to be used to improve some of our current older facilities as well. So we are utilizing the resources that we already have in order to continue with the growth and improving those schools. We're not just building brand new schools. So can you just explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, again, a great question. I'll stick to the question this time too, but we wanted, and I say we, because I was just one of the facilitators. Our community committee wanted to be able to say that every school, every kid, every family will benefit from this bond. And so, again, we're committed. Every time we've opened up a new elementary school, we've gone back into the existing schools, even the brand new schools. We've done updates at every campus. We'll continue to invest in every single campus so that every family can feel like if they're going to support this bond, it's going to go and help their kid, their family, their schools, and then the future kids that will come through there. That's also good for us to make sure that we're maintaining our facilities. Yes, keeping up with the times, making sure safety is constantly improved, but then there's always new things we can do to enhance the learner experience, and we want to continue to do that at every campus, not just our newest campuses. A really good example of that is Odell Elementary needs some new electronics to match what we're putting in our, we need to do that. We got to make sure that when you walk into any campus, any school in Celina ISD, there'll be parity in what the learner experience will be at each campus.
You done yet?
I am. I did want to see if, unless you have a hot sports
No,
question.
I do. No, not a sports question, but I am curious. What is your favorite podcast in Celina?
Well, I've only been on 2 podcasts. Both of them were with you as the host, so I'm assuming that's got to be what it was.
That you did get that. We can keep him around for a while. I think he's doing a good job.
Can I give Ben Hangartner, just so that you can hear from a community member who is on our committee? Can I just give him a quick
Absolutely,
word?
100%.
Ben, if you don't know Ben, was a very active participant on our community committee, our bond committee, but also is a merchant here in the city, but then also has kids in our schools. I want to give you a quick chance.
Dr. Tom, thank you, and thank you, Ron. Appreciate the time to come stand before y'all and kind of prep the bond, everyone, for this upcoming election. I will say early voting starts in less than 2 weeks. April the 22nd through the 29th. Election day is May the 3rd, so please get out and vote. And I will say one thing that Dr. Tom can't say, which is vote yes for Proposition A and Proposition B. But to be clear to one of the questions and to give a little clarity on the different propositions, like Dr. Tom said, the educational facilities and the infrastructure for those facilities are on Proposition A. The technology by law has to be on a separate proposition. And then to provide even a little more transparency, some folks have said, well, what isn't included? What don't we know is included? Those types of things. Are you trying to hide a stadium in here? All those types of things. By law, we cannot. The district cannot. Those things would have to be on separate propositions as indicated with the technology proposition. So the 2 propositions, again, Proposition A for 11 schools, upgrades, land purchases, infrastructure, buses, all inclusive for 6A programming in the middle schools and elementary schools that are going to need to facilitate the high schools that we have. Will be on Proposition A. Vote yes for that, and then Proposition B, technology for upgrades and the tablets and Mac Chromebooks and all those things that our kids use daily. That will be on Proposition B. I will say that being a part of the bond steering committee was a great learning experience for me. Been in the district. Our kids, we moved here in 2006. Our kids we've got 3 kids. One has graduated. We've got 2 more, a sophomore and a 7th grader. And just to see the growth in the city. Obviously, you guys have seen that no matter how long you've lived here. If you've lived here for the last 3 weeks, you've seen growth in our town. But to see the growth and to see how it's been managed and the stewardship of our city council, who are here and represented this evening, mayor and council, thank you for your leadership. And what y'all do in the city, but also to our school district, to our administration, to our school board members. Thank y'all for the stewardship and the fiscal responsibility that you guys share, and obviously lead with with integrity and character each and every time you guys make decisions on behalf of the city. So I will say this: learning from that, you guys, most of y'all, some of y'all were on that bond committee. Most of y'all were not. To kind of pull back the curtain and to share with y'all the thought and the decisions that were made, and that we can go forward and know with confidence that the bond that is before us this time around is something that the city needs, and it's something that our students deserve. So thank y'all very much. Again, vote yes. There are signs, there are T-shirts, there are pamphlets, there are flyers, all kinds of stuff back there. If you guys have more information, if you want to support and represent the district, please grab one of those items on the way out. Thank you very much.
All right, Ben, thank you so much. Guys, what we're going to do is we're going to take a very quick 2-song break. Scotty Schaefer is going to play and entertain and provide that music for the break. So 2 songs, grab some pizza. There's about $600 or $700 worth of pizza back there. That came out of this pocket. So go grab some, grab a soft drink. We'll be back in a minute. And all the really good questions that you're waiting on, they come up after this break. So 2 songs, guys. All right. Who's got the microphone? Brandon. This is not going to be maybe the most applicable question for you, but do your best to answer it. So just let's pretend that you've got an opponent. Why should people vote for you and not your opponent or opponents?
Because you have no choice. No,
you've got a full minute to explain that.
Minute. I could say that really slowly then. No, I mean, it's still, I was talking to people in the back, you know, it's really important for me to be here, even though I don't have an opponent, because I don't want to be a fair weather council person. I want people to be able to be confident in voting for me, whether I've got an opponent or not. But, you know, I truly do. You know, I'm from Celina. I truly do have Celina. I hope I have Celina's best interest in heart. I feel like I really do. I'm very serious when I say I really want to make this a place for generational legacies, not just for my family, but for your families as well. Just because coming from that generational legacy, I got to tell you, it's a really cool thing. That when you grow up and you are out and about and you're seeing somebody that taught you in first grade, or running into the Sunday school teacher that used to give you spankings or something, it's kind of a neat thing, good stories. So I really have Celina's best interest. I love Celina. I mean, that's why I wanted my wife to come back here and raise my family. But feel free to vote for my opponent if you feel so inclined to.
Oh my God. How about write-ins? Can we do a write-in? I'm just kidding.
Write-in, RONLY.
All right. Philip, do you need a reread?
Yeah, give it to me again.
Okay. Why should people vote for you and not your opponent?
Okay, it's a little awkward question to answer, since I do have an opponent, but she didn't bother to show up for this forum, unfortunately. So I don't want to necessarily throw someone under a bus. So instead of talking about her, I'll just talk about me. Again, at the end of my first term, 3 years, when I came on to city council, I really didn't have an agenda. I tell people all the time, if it's for the good of Celina, you can probably count me as a yes. If it's not good for Celina, count me as a no. And I'm persuadable. So if you have something on your mind, let's talk about it, and we'll figure things out. My priorities the last 3 years, and they'll continue to be public safety. I make sure the police and fire have everything they need. Infrastructure. Fiscal responsibility. We've lowered your city tax rate every year for the 3 years I've been on city council. Partnerships with the ISD. You heard directly from Dr. Tom. We work great together. Unique events. I think that's what separates Celina from everyone else. I just don't want us to be another North Texas boomtown with nothing interesting going on. And then hiring the best people we can get in a position. That's what I want us to have. And I've delivered on all that the 3 years, and I'll continue to do it for 3 more.
All right, very good. Who's got the microphone over here? Is there anybody that hasn't? Everybody's taken the first question, right, on this end? You have not? You know who wants the microphone right now, right? All right. All right, so your question, do politics belong in school board decision-making?
No, when I think of politics, I do think of, well, unfortunately, sometimes a little bit of the nastier side of campaigning and fighting against each other. When it comes to school board, I think we have to come together. I think everybody on this panel has different backgrounds and different experiences. And I think it's important that we draw from all of those different experiences to come to solutions that matter for the majority of our students. When we're talking about a small board, we're talking about a small board that is making policies and being the voice of a district that is going to grow to 15,000. So we've got to have plenty of people that are on the board that come from different backgrounds, have different experiences, and are truly able to work together.
All right, Vicki, do politics belong in school board decision making?
Education belongs in school board decision making, being supportive of our teachers, being supportive of our parents, of our students. That's where the focus needs to be. We need to really come together as a community and advocate and all be on the same page. We have a unique opportunity to lead a legacy, and we can do that together for our students. We can really get behind each and every one of our students and help them find their greatest path. And we can do that together as a community. And that's what the school board needs to be about, working together, getting out there within the community and rallying around our students so they have the best pathway and they know they're supported. And that happens and starts with all of us. And that's what it should be about.
All right, very good. Okay.
No. No, they don't belong there.
Yeah, could you elaborate on that?
Politics to me has a very negative connotation. I'm not a politician, and I've even said that before. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear to get your vote. I'm going to tell you who I am, and I'm going to tell you if elected, these are the foundations I'm going to make decisions on. And so I'm a believer. I believe in God's word. That's me. That's a nutshell. So politics to me has a very self-serving connotation. I view I don't like politicians. Apologize to them, I guess. But I see them as very self-serving. They're doing what they can do to get elected so that they can serve themselves. No, we have to serve the school district. We have to serve the teachers, the kids. So the answer again is no.
Very good.
Well, and I don't think once you get more than two people with all the various backgrounds, I think there's going to be politics involved. I believe that's just part of how you have to do what's going to be as you're making policy or as you're putting forth, or implementing plans and things like that. I don't see how you get away from it. It's not something that I'm necessarily think is always a negative in my opinion, but I also think that as long as you're keeping the blocking and tackling, right? It's the teachers, it's the students. If you're keeping the school district, we all have students, teachers, the district at heart. We may have different ideas of how we want to go about that, but in my opinion, I don't think you can get away from it. It's like asking me to not be a Christian when I go to work. So,
okay, thank you.
My answer is no. I'll go back to my leadership comment earlier. We should be leaders in our community. How can we lead kids when we allow politics to cause conflict that we can't resolve peacefully in front of our kiddos? So politics don't belong in it. I think any conflict that we have, we need to be leaders, teach our kiddos how to resolve conflict during that time so that they learn that for their future.
All right, very good. Okay, who's got the microphone? All right, Philip, you have it. Let's see, we're ahead of schedule. We're doing good here. So, you have a question? If you do. All right, so I'm curious, what metrics should citizens use to hold you accountable if you're elected, if you are re-elected?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, one, I wish all citizens would be much more involved with what's going on at a local level. When I was our Republican precinct chairman, I just tell people all the time, 3 most important elections, in my opinion, is school board, city council, and your local district attorney, because those are the people that make the biggest difference in your life. Unfortunately, those are elections people turn out the least for. In terms of accountability, at the city level, there's surveys. We do community surveys all the time. And since I've been on city council, the transparency score has actually gone up about 11%. So I'll count that as a win. So people know more about what's going on. It's easier to find information. There's not as much difficulty on things just being buried in the bureaucracy of the city. So I think that's a good thing. The old-fashioned just call. Hey, you said this during the campaign, or I talked to you and you told me that. What's going on with this now? People should speak up and hold people accountable that way. See how they vote on issues and ask them why that's the case, and go from there. But I mean, it's got to be kind of a two-way thing. You have to have a engaged, informed electorate to make it happen, I think.
All right, very good. You're going to share the microphone. All right, Brandon, what metrics should citizens use in order to hold you accountable should you be reelected?
Yeah. So really, it's pretty easy. It's the metrics that we've set for ourselves whenever we're running for these campaigns. You know, whenever people are running, kind of like what Chuck said earlier, he's not going to tell you what you want to hear to get your vote. He's going to tell you who he is. A lot of people just kind of tell you what you want to hear, and you just got to follow what you're hearing during these campaigns and seeing, is this person holding true to what he or she said that she was going to do? Are they not holding true to that? Watch the council meetings, attend the council meetings, see what's being said, see how they're voting. A lot of times you might vote on something in January and a similar situation might come up in September. Has the vote wavered any? You know, are they still kind of staying true to some of the things that they have originally said that they were going to do in the beginning? So the metrics, I believe, are set by the candidate themselves whenever they're running for the seat. I've got 10 seconds left.
You've got 10
I'm going to
seconds.
say that I like politicians as much as I like school board members. Y'all want to talk smack? Every time y'all said politicians, y'all all kind of looked out here cross-eyed at us and kind of offensive.
All right, very good. All right, we're hopping over to ISD real quick. Where's the microphone? Okay.
What are your plans to support teachers, not just with pay, but with respect, autonomy, and retention?
So let's discuss the pay. Everybody knows that the state of Texas has held back and not increased pay since 2019. So the only way that we can really do that is get involved at the state level, which our administration is already doing. They're pushing there. Retention, I think that has to go with the nice facilities, the leadership that we have, Dr. Tom leading them, guiding them in the right direction, and being open-minded and listening to them if they have any issues they need to bring to the school board.
All right, that was a 30-second. That was good.
Yeah. What was that? Say, there was a couple of things in that question. What was it?
That was good.
How do you plan to support teachers, not just with pay, but with autonomy and retention?
I think it goes back to support with teachers. You know, I think I've talked about it on our Facebook page. Just mental health is a huge problem that I don't think gets near enough attention right now. And I think you look at the number of teachers here and you look at the age range and ranges, and you can look at the statistics, and the chances are really high that a majority of teachers have these issues, not just the students but also the teachers. So I think that's one area that shows that just I have some personal experience in just being a physician and dealing with some of those things that come up and that teachers need, and then they can kind of imbue that. That also turns over into the students as well. If they're taken care of, they have a better output of students and what they're able to do for the students on a daily basis. So
All right,
mental
very
health.
good. Thank you.
Short answer.
All right, 39-second answer. That was good.
Yeah, pressure's on. Way to go, guys. What was the question again?
You're going to make us ask it again. All right.
How do you plan to support teachers, not just with pay, but with retention and what was the other part?
Autonomy.
Autonomy. Thank you.
That was a good one.
In other words, besides the obvious, besides just pay supporting
right.
teachers, how else can we support teachers?
Absolutely. And that's a huge challenge for Celina. For those of you who know a little bit about the funding formula, we don't have the most favorable funding formula compared to our surrounding districts. So pay is very difficult for us to be competitive with some of the markets. So we've got to come up with creative ways to create an environment that teachers want to come to for less pay. That's a hard thing to do, but I think we've done a pretty successful job with that. We've allowed teachers we got to provide a safe place for them to teach. We got to provide the right support, the right materials. All that kind of stuff is very important. And they've got to, man, I hate to say they got to love coming to work because I've never loved going to work, but they got to not hate it. They got to enjoy coming there. They got to enjoy the people they meet. They got to have some freedoms to be who they are, to express themselves, and to be able to use the God-given talents that they have to teach our kids. So that's how we create a space that they're comfortable teaching in.
Well, I think I touched on this earlier, and I've been in education for 14 years. The two biggest reasons that you lose good educators is going to be burnout and underappreciation. Appreciation comes from the very top. We have to show our teachers that we care. I slightly disagree because I think that most teachers do it because they love it, because they love what they do and they genuinely love coming to work every day. But I oftentimes see that burnout happen within the first couple of months of the school year. So we have to show our teachers that we care about them. We have to provide them with the resources that they deserve. I have worked in many districts for less pay because I loved the district that I worked in. And that it had nothing to do with salary. It had nothing to do with pay. It had to do with feeling appreciated and having the resources and support that I truly needed.
All right, very good, Vicki.
Yeah, I see some PTA moms in here, and I think it's incredible what they do to support our teachers. And it starts with the community and building a really great culture so that the teachers really want to come to work in this culture in this city for this ISD. I think what's really important is giving them the opportunity to really grow in their career as well. We know pay is always going to be there, but there are other things that we can do as community members, as parents, to really support our teachers, to advocate for them. It's not really that hard. You find a lot of times you hear the worst stories. Those are the easiest ones to broadcast, but really doing a better job of recognizing those great teachers that do incredible things. And it boils down to the culture that we create for them. They're going to want to be here if we want them here. I do agree they have to get into education because they love it, and we know they love it, so let's support them and show them how much we love them.
All right, very good. And we're going to switch over. We've got one more question for City Council, and then we're going to roll out into the audience and start taking questions out there. So if you're sitting out here right now and you've got a question either for any of the ISD or City Council candidates, get those in the forefront of your mind, and we're going to do that here in just a moment. So one more for City Council.
Are there any decisions the City Council's made notably that you would disagree with?
All of them that I voted against. Yeah. Man, I don't know. That's a really tough one. Just something more most recently would probably be a council meeting that we had last month involving the neighborhood integrity program that Phillips loves. It's a program it's a beautification for HOAs. It's kind of help them with entryways or lighting, whatever it could be, a project that they need help on, they need financial support on doing. I was against that. Still kind of against that. I just feel like some of those funds could be used elsewhere for the city. I don't want any kind of taxpayer dollars being used for private entities like HOAs. And I feel like there's so many other projects that we need to be doing right now, other than trying to make the HOAs look really pretty and beautiful. They collect fees, and they can do that on their own. Downtown is a really big part of that, and I was told explicitly that downtown cannot use that NIP program. So that's very frustrating. So I am against that.
All right, very good, Philip.
So the question was, what did we vote on that we were against?
Yeah, are there any recent decisions by the City Council that you disagree with?
I can think of one, but I'll leave that one out right now. I know, but believe it or not, the City Council by and large is pretty aligned. Even though there's a lot of friction that happens through the process sometimes, usually by the time it gets to us, city staff does a great job on getting things through the process, hammering into the form it's supposed to be in. Our boards and commissions are fantastic on helping guide all that stuff. So usually by the time it gets to us, it's been vetted through a lot. I mean, it's not a situation, just so the public is aware, where something just kind of comes out of the blue when the City Council is dealing with it. I mean, usually by the time it gets to us, it's been in the works for a while. So in terms of stuff that we voted and we disagree on, I mean, I can't think of anything recently There's a few business opportunities I think we should have looked closer on. I mean, those weren't public vote type situations, but yeah, I can't think of anything recently that I would be against.
Very good. All right, so we're going to do this. I'm going to come up there, and so hold on to that mic. Ben, if you'll take one of the other microphones up there. This is your golden opportunity to ask any questions that you have, but I'm going to ask that you have grace and that you not try to do a gotcha question or something like that. I do believe that everybody up here could handle anything that we could throw at them. I consider everybody up here someone that I respect, friends with most of the guys up here and girls up here, and I don't want anything negative. That's not what the best of Celina is all about. We have enough negativity, but if you do have a valid question, this is your golden opportunity right now to ask it. If you're kind of borderline and you're not sure if it's going to come across right, you can whisper it to me and I'll tell you. Okay, so Ben's got the microphone. Anybody have a question for literally anyone up here?
Yeah, I got a question, and it's pretty much all of you. That way it's equal and it's fair. What have you done for Celina? Where are you spending your time? Have you been out in the communities? Have you volunteered at the schools? You're running for this position, and it's more for school board. I apologize. I'm not trying to segregate y'all over there, but more interested in the school board just because I know it's a big part of what we do. You said it earlier. Teachers are the reason we're all where we're at in life, whether it's good or bad. We owe it to a teacher at some point to push us to get us here. You know, whether it was paddlings or whatever it was that got us here, it got us here. So hopefully we learn from them and we got to support them. If not, we're going to lose them. As all of you said up here, we're going to lose them through other things. They're going to get tired and burned out. But what specifically have you done other than other jobs or stuff that's in the community? I understand your teachers and other parts like that, but what have you done to volunteer in the school boards, in the school districts, in the classrooms? Can you give me some examples of things you've done? All of them. I'd like for all of them to answer if that'd be all right. I think it's only fair that way.
So many of y'all know it's no secret. I love to volunteer. David, my family love to volunteer, whether it's Celina Education Foundation, whether I'm here on Monday having lunch with partnering and parents, whatever, partnering in education. There's a whole list. I probably can't get it done in a minute, but I throw myself into doing what I can for this ISD because I believe in it. I am part of Rotary. We have the Interact Club at the high school. If any of these PTA moms come and ask me for anything, I am there. They know I'm there. I'm very supportive. I just think they do amazing things. I can't say enough about them. They are wonderful individuals that can make things happen for our teachers. If anybody in the ISD, any one of the teachers call on me, I am there. I do not hesitate. David and I work with the Education Foundation. We run the chuck wagons. We come in the morning. Sometimes it's 5 a.m. to serve our teachers breakfast, whatever it takes to show our appreciation. I am a huge advocate of education and what you guys do for our community. We probably can't do enough. We're in a place in our lives where we know we can give and we want to give more. I attend all the school board meetings me and David have for probably the last 5 years. We're also huge proponents and we love the city. So you'll see us out at any city event. I'm on the library board. Whatever I can do, you'll see me there.
All right. I'm going to, just in the interest of time, because I know everybody wants to go home, but probably no one more than me and Brandon. But if, right, Brandon? See, I tried to joke and you didn't even get it.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Politicians can check out whenever it's school board stuff. So, guys, if you can, just very, very quickly answer. And I'd like to get to a few more. I know we've got a few more questions out here, and then we can try to get everybody home.
Well, for the last 5 years, I built a private practice for children with special needs here in Celina called Achieving Milestones. That is here in the downtown Celina area. And within that, I started providing educational advocacy services for parents here, both in the community and across the state of Texas. And so my job is to partner with the parents and with the students and ensure that they receive the resources and services that they need using educational law law. Oftentimes that can be seen as fighting against the school. It's actually fighting for the child. And so I like to feel like I partner with the school district, and I am somewhat of a bridge between the district and the parent in order to ensure that they receive the proper services. I get messages at least once a week from parents throughout the district that need questions answered about a particular law or a particular instance that occurred with their child. And I make myself always available to answer those questions for our parents and ensure that our students are taken care of.
I have served on the school board for the last 16 years. I'm very active in our church, so we do things. I serve out into the community. I used to volunteer for a lot of the sporting events until I received a football injury because I wasn't quick enough to get out of the way. I was holding one of those yard poles, and tore meniscus, and that was the end of my football career. But every chance I get, I do try and serve. I served a lot more when I was younger, I'm going to be very honest with you. But I'm still very active in the quarterback club. I was the captain there back in my son's senior year, 2014. So I do a lot of stuff. I love this community and love to give back when I can.
So since we've been here, I've coached a lot of the Parks and Rec teams. So I've coached baseball for multiple years, soccer for multiple years. I coached tackle football. I've coached soccer for multiple years, and I've coached basketball. So from a coaching standpoint, just with the Parks and Rec and a ton of kids that are still here in the district. I'm a board member, or I'm a officer on the Martin PTA for membership. I've been a mentor for the quarterback club for 3 years, which is just the quarterback club. They have mentors who come in for some of the athletes there at the high school. And there seems like there was one other thing. What was it? Oh, yeah. Well, and I'm on a board here at our local church here at Movement Church downtown. Seems like there's one more. If I think of it, I'll give it back.
Okay, so I've got twins. I've got a seventh grader. I've coached soccer, baseball, basketball all through since they started. Gone to board meetings. I've been on the bond committee. But where I've spent a lot of my time is in our FFA program. So our FFA program has one vehicle and 2 trailers, and we'll take anywhere from 20 pigs to 30 pigs to state shows. Well, I've always donated my time, my pickup, even if my kids weren't showing pigs. We show heifers. I've hauled heifers to Houston, Fort Worth, Dallas, our county, San Angelo, San Antonio. I also help our ag mechanics team, where this year I sponsored a trailer that's actually a semi-trailer that goes behind a Peterbilt. I bought all the materials, chased it down, went up there, helped the kids build, along with our ag teachers. They've used my facilities at my house to actually paint it because the school didn't have a paint booth yet, which they're building now. We're getting there, but they just didn't have it. So I spend a lot of my time helping our youth.
All right, I have the next question myself. I'm going to take this one. This is for the school board. Never give a politician a mic. So, to the school board, cell phones have become a big distraction inside of the classroom. How do you all feel about cell phones in the classroom, and do you have a solution to help our teachers for that distraction?
And we're looking for the 20-second answer.
I'll bite the bullet on that one. I say no, maybe they should check them at the classroom door. Everybody's worried about safety, but we have a great police program. We have a great administration that puts safety as a priority. I say check those phones at the door, and if something happens up here, let's let our administrators, our teachers, our law enforcement, our first responders handle that, and then we will get in touch with the parents. Because as a former first responder, I flew on a helicopter for a long time. Parents showing up to scenes can be a very devastating deal and can slow down the response process of the emergency.
Yeah, I don't think there's any place for the phones in the classroom. I don't mind if kids have a phone that they are able to use at some point, but in the classroom, total distraction, hard for the teachers to keep an eye on everybody, and there's no telling what they're getting on during that time. So.
I would agree with what these gentlemen said. Check them at the door. If there's an emergency or something like that, we've got administrators that can go and interrupt the class and get a hold of the student. So check them at the door and learn.
Well, I have two teenagers right here that are eyeing me. I will say that as a parent, I do like to have my children to have, for me to be able to contact them throughout the day. However, both of their cell phones are locked out significantly, and I have access to everything. And that is not the case for all of our students. And so my concern is that they are every single day exposed to things that I would not allow them to be exposed to myself. And so that is my greatest concern. And so I agree. I think check them at the classroom door. They turn them in, they get them back whenever they get to go into the hallways or out to lunch. But I don't think they have any place within the classroom, and they have to be monitored a lot more closely than they are.
My 14-year-old does not have a cell phone, so it is possible. I learned the hard way, though, because her brother and her are 8 years apart, and we learned through watching him be absorbed with that cell phone that it was just not a good path. So I'm not a huge advocate, and I know it's possible because I have a 14-year-old, and the school does let them use a phone if there's an emergency. So no, I do not think it is necessary to have them in class. We need to be here to learn and not have distractions.
First of all, I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to come here and share your perspective on things. And I appreciate people being willing to serve the community. My real question ties back to conflicts of interest, professional conflicts of interest, and what everybody's perspective, and this actually goes for school board members as well. What's your perspective on having a professional career that by being elected could actually help you enrich yourself personally? Just want to get your perspective on that.
For clarity, the question is about conflicts of interest and specifically how.
Just what their perspective is on conflicts of interest.
Okay. Is that aimed?
Professional conflicts of interest.
Okay.
It's primarily for city council.
Okay. Well, let's.
I know that there's. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's do city council on that. Brandon? You've got the microphone.
Yeah, I think that comes down to just your own moral and ethical judgment there. You know, I own a small business here in Celina. I've been on some of Ron's shows. He's plugged them for me. I've done a show for Ron, and I think that he's gotten on to me for not plugging my business. I just don't plug it. That's not what I got on city council for, is to grow my business. And to be honest with you, I think that since I've been on city council, my business has kind of declined a little bit. So, but you know, if anything ever came up that I felt like was a conflict of interest, I would recuse myself from voting on that. I would like to think that everybody on council would do that, because I would like to think that everyone on council is of high moral standards. But I hope that answered your question. It's a very political answer, but
well, you know, you are a politician now,
yeah.
So. Well, you're either going to walk out of here tonight with a stand-up comedy career now, or you're forever going to be a politician. So, all right, Philip, you want to tackle that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty easy. If there's a chance you're going to have conflict of interest, you shouldn't be serving on city council, just period, the end. I wish she was here to defend herself, but she's not, so I'll just say it. My opponent is a commercial real estate agent here in town. She had the opportunity to be on the Economic Development Corporation board. She pulled her name out because the story is she would have conflicts of interest. Just so you know, the city council has to approve everything the EDC does. So it doesn't pass logic test in my mind that you are going to have conflicts of interest, admittedly, self-admittedly on the EDC board, but you won't have those same conflicts of interest on the city council. If that can be explained away, I'm all ears. It just doesn't make any sense to me. For me, I've been on city council for 3 years. I like to joke around. I'm waiting for the mailbox money to show up. It never does. The bills show up, but nothing else. So if there's any way you're going to somehow personally enrich yourself, this is the wrong business for you. And I think even if there's a possibility that can happen, the community's better served by just avoiding that completely.
Okay, it's almost time to go home, so I think we'll do last one right here.
All right. One of the things you hear people say all the time, and I think you guys have all said it too, is Celina is a special community. And one of the things you hear a lot of times is, hey, we pray at the football games. The culture here is just amazing. And really the culture is based on our values. So my question to you guys is, Celina has been a city of faith for many, many years. That's one of the things that have driven the values of Celina. So what are you going to do on the school board, on the city council, to see that Celina remains a city of faith? When I say a city of faith, I mean particularly Christian values.
Okay, definitely running out of time. So anybody in particular want to tackle that?
Well, I'll see real quick. I mean, we start all our city council meetings off with prayer. I can't speak for everyone, but I mean, I go to church every week with Chuck. He opens the door for me. Thanks, man. So yeah, I mean, any great community's got to be have a foundation of some sort of belief, and I think we're very fortunate here in Celina. We're a strong Christian community. I don't anticipate that changing anytime soon. Certainly, anything I can do to keep that going, I'll continue to do so.
Okay. Anybody else want to? Okay, Megan.
Well, Pastor Carter and I got to talk a little bit about this earlier, but I will say that I have 2 children, and the greatest thing that I could possibly do is see their souls saved. And I am a Christian, and it is very important for me to have them in a faith-based community and in a faith-based school district. And I will work very hard to make sure that those values do not go away. As a parent, I'm very passionate about that and about what my children are exposed to. And so any slight deviation away from those Christian values that we all love here, I will stand up for that, and I will fight for that as hard as I possibly can. So that's my promise to you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think it goes back to the mission as far as us on the school board. Traditional faith-based values, I think that's, like I said, that whatever your faith is, you're going to benefit in this community if that remains the basics, if that's the foundation of what we're doing as a school board member. No matter where you come from, where your background is, or any other situation, you're going to improve with those faith-based values. It's like, how can do unto others as you would have them, how can obey your mom and dad? Those are things that are just behavioral things. It gets blown up in the media and things like that, but that is absolutely the foundation. If we just stick to the foundation, and they will go away if we don't actively pursue those foundations in this board, at the city council, and within the community. They will go away. It's not going to be here if we don't keep it here, and that's my promise to you there.
Very good.
So I agree with all that. And here's the deal. There's always legal things. So that is a hill I'm willing to stand on to fight. So if I get elected and get on the board and somebody goes after that, that's a hill I'll stand on to fight. And if I got to lose my position for this community to keep it, that's what I'll do.
All right, very good, guys. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna do 1 minute closing. It might be closing arguments, closing statements. Depends on how you think this night went for you tonight. So before we do that, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming and being a part of this. There's about 1 million other things I'm sure you'd rather be doing tonight than being here. I tried as hard as I could to make it not your typical boring, preloaded questions, all that kind of stuff. Okay, there's no agenda here. I think we're going to be well served with anyone up here that gets elected. So, and you guys get to make that choice. And that's what this is all about. So a little bit of music from Scotty Schaefer. How was Scotty? Pretty good, right? Absolutely. Of course, Dr. Tom, making yourself available. Thank you, sir. That's big, and we appreciate it very, very much. And of course, everybody up here, Miss Celina, thank you. And but most of all, I can't leave out Josiah. I mean, this is going out right now. We've had 2 huge audiences at home watching tonight, and I think I hurt myself a little bit by saying, "Hey, you can watch this online." Everybody's like, "Okay, well, I'm staying home." So, but we've had two really large crowds on the website, on the Best of Celina website, and on the Facebook page. So this will be watched many times. Josiah, thank you so much for that. All right, guys, 1 minute. So that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have much time left, so we're going to do this real quick, and then we're going to get out of here. Anybody want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, guys. My name is Cameron Riggs, running for place 2. Again, I want to keep Celina. I want to keep those traditional values, those Christian-based values, instill leadership, be a leader in the community for our kiddos. I've got a lot of time that I can go to meetings. I can be there for kiddos. I can go help. I will continue, even if I don't get elected, I'll continue to go help with the FFA and the Ag Mechanics team. So my whole goal is keep Celina, instill leadership, faith-based, Christian-based values. Sorry.
All right, very good.
Yeah, I agree, and I just think we're at a point here where we can really make a change. Not necessarily change, but there's going to be change that's coming, and we've got an opportunity to be the premier district in the state. I think if we stick to what we say are our missions, our values, and things like that, there's nothing that shouldn't keep. People are going to want to come here, not because it's cheaper land than in Frisco, but it's because, man, they see something's going right in Celina. It's going to start with the folks who are the community members who are involved, and then the folks who are on these boards. And I think that's maybe, again, where we go back to those traditional foundations, sticking to that, and we can do some amazing things. I believe we're at a point, and it's going to be one way or the other. There are no middle grounds. There are no gray areas.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
As I said earlier, we moved here 17 years ago. I moved here because I felt that there was a spiritual foundation to the city and this council and our school district, and that's my goal. I want to continue to keep that. That's special. It's why we moved here, and I want people to move here for years to come for that exact reason.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Megan Dungan, and I'm running for place 1. I am a mom of 2 children that will be fully graduated in 6 years, so I have plenty of time here to continue to serve on the board. I believe that the next 3 years are going to be some of the most important 3 years of education and changes that are going to occur in our nation, and it's very important for us to have someone on the board that understands educational law and understands how to work within educational law, and I hope to be that support system. I serve to gain nothing from this. If I am elected to the school board, I will not take any educational advocacy cases here in Celina ISD because I do not want that to be a conflict of interest. Should that child end up having to go before the school board, I want to be able to support that child at a much higher level, and so yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Vicki Hogue, and I'm running for school board place 1. I am a food safety global leader for Pizza Hut, and the reason that I am in that position, I get to teach, mentor, and really cultivate leaders in the area of food safety. It's because somebody believed in me. I had an educator, teachers who supported me, who helped me pave the way to do what I do today. This journey for me has been ongoing. I have dedicated myself, me and David, have dedicated ourselves to the community and this ISD in every way. I'm full on because I believe in the power of education for all students. And I know that it can make magic happen. When you believe in somebody, when you support all students, great things happen for the community. And that's why I'm here and I'm asking you today for your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
So nobody really used their full minute, so I'm going to take that as I get to use more time.
You have 17 minutes.
Yeah, the question that was asked earlier today was about the metrics that you can look at these council members or these school board members on and see if they're really doing their job. And I don't have an opponent, so I really haven't been able to speak about some of the goals that I have. So I'm going to use my time for that. When I found out that I was running unopposed, I did meet with our city manager and just sat down with them and said, these are the things that I really want to try to accomplish in my next 3 years of service as city council. And they were in a particular order. Number 1 being the downtown. I do want a good, clear, concise plan with timelines and dates on when are we going to have the roads, when are we going to have the sidewalks, more importantly, when are we going to have the drainage. If you don't think drainage is an issue, come downtown after it rains and welcome to the lakes of Celina, because that's what it is. It's been an issue for a long time. When I was younger, we'd get a big rain, we'd catch catfish in the ditches. So that's a problem. Number 2 was public works and development services. I think that we need to have a little bit more of an emphasis on that over the next few years. Public works is important because can't flush your toilet. They're going to be the most important people in your life at that point. And then our first responders, we did focus on first responders last year a lot on our budgets. I'd like to focus a little bit more on the mental health of the first responders. Being on city council and hearing some of the things that these first responders go through and that they see, I don't know how they do it, how they can go from being the firefighter during the day or the police officer during the day.
You have only 16 minutes left.
Thank you. Well, I've got 2 minutes because he only used like 20 seconds. So, but how they're able to go from
you do not want to lose this election without an opponent, do you?
Sir, please don't interrupt me again. It's very rude.
Because
I have the mic. Yeah, turn them off. But real quick, it's just, I don't see how they can do that job at the end of the day and they go home to their families and be a productive member of their household. So that's another focus that I've got.
Thank you.
All right, Philip Ferguson running for re-election for place one. Just remember Phil for first, and you'll be good to go on election day. One of the nice things about being an incumbent is you have a record, and for me, it's a record I'm proud of. When I look back in the last 3 years, we built a new police station. We built a fire station number 3 on the west side of town to service those residents. We got fire station number 4 under construction. We built a senior center. We're building a new downtown center. We've developed a 5-year capital improvement plan so we can grow smart. Miles of new roads, new sewers, new water capacity, everything. But we're not done. That's the starting point. I wanted to give it one more go, 3 more years to keep building on what we already have. And I want when people think about Celina, they don't think about where we're at. They think about, man, that's a great place. I wish I lived there. And I think we're on the right path for that. And I want to continue that direction.
All right, very good. Thank you, everybody. Please be safe going home. And yes, we're going to try this again next year. Thank you.